Lamentations, chapter 3. Because of the Lord's great love we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Not every morning feels like that. Some mornings you just arrive. You surface from sleep without ceremony. You pour the coffee and you stand at the window, and the day opens its mouth and asks you to fill it again. No fanfare, no sign, just the slow, heavy return to the ordinary. And somewhere in that plainness, a very old, very persuasive lie walks through the door without knocking. Nothing is happening for you. The blessing moved on. You are standing outside the window of a life that belongs to someone else. We were taught to expect favor to arrive like a windfall, loud, visible, something everyone could point to. And because the sky didn't split open, because nothing exceptional arrived to prove you were chosen, you began to read the silence as abandonment. But you are misreading the silence. I want you to go back not far, just to the last few years. The winters that ran too long, the wait that had no name, the days you spent entirely unqualified for the life you were somehow still living. You were waiting for the miracle to arrive from the outside. You didn't notice the one already holding you together from the inside. Hard pressed, but not consumed. The fact that you are sitting here today, still breathing, still holding on to some stubborn, unreasonable thread of faith, that is not personality, that is not willpower, that is something you did not manufacture yourself. When the seasons get heavy, the instinct is to disappear. You convince yourself slowly and very reasonably that you have nothing left to give, that you are too hollow to be worth anyone's time, that the kindest thing you can do is simply stop requiring so much from the air around you. So you pull back, you learn to give short answers. You get very good at saying "I'm fine" in a way that asks nothing of anyone. And then, someone stayed anyway. Maybe it was not a dramatic intervention. Maybe it was just one person who kept sending the unremarkable text, who showed up without asking if you wanted them to, who poured the coffee and set it in front of you and didn't require you to explain yourself or be further along in your healing or perform a version of okay that you didn't have the energy to sustain. We file that under being lucky to have good people. We do not stop to consider the specific surgical grace of it. You prayed for your circumstances to change, and God answered by making sure you did not drift out of reach. He placed a living, breathing presence in the middle of your most invisible season. Not to fix you, not to deliver a word or a wisdom, just to sit across the table and look at you and decide without discussion to remain. That is not coincidence. That is God holding the wire with someone else's hands. You probably didn't think much about it when you woke up today. The alarm, the covers, the cold floor under your feet, the coffee, the mechanical return to motion. You think it is just a body doing what bodies do, lungs pulling air, heart moving blood, nothing worth noting. But I want you to sit for a moment with the weight of what you have actually carried over these last few miles. The grief that tried to permanently rewrite your name. The seasons where the pressure of simply existing felt like more than any one person should have to absorb. The nights where something inside you got very close to the edge of a decision you cannot come back from. Despair set a table for your defeat. And you are still here. Not triumphant. Not repaired. Not past it. But here, you walk through smoke that expected to consume you. And the faith you're holding right now, however small, however worn, however full of questions, is not nothing. It is the specific, irreplaceable evidence that something stronger than the dark has been working in your chest without your permission. The pulse beating against your ribs right now is not accidental. It is God's handwriting still legible, still moving forward. There is a specific grief in standing before a mirror and not recognizing the road the face has traveled. We spend so much time mourning the easier version of this life, staring at the ashes of the plans we made before we understood what we were being asked to carry. But the fact that you survived the burning is itself a staggering thing. The enemy did not come to slow you down. It came to ensure that you never became what you were made to be. It sat in the room with you. It learned your language. It used your own exhaustion as the argument against your existence. And you are still here. Not fixed, not finished, not on the other side of the thing, but present. Which means the work God began in you has not been handed to anyone else. So do not rush past this quiet. You do not have to have the rest of the story figured out. Feel the steady, stubborn beating in your chest, and let it be enough for right now to simply acknowledge the breathless, ordinary miracle that you are still here.
The frost was heavy on the glass. I watched the darkest season pass. No parted waters in the sea, no sudden light to rescue me. Just the quiet rhythm in my chest that sorrow tried to put to rest. I carried ruins in my hands and sifted through the broken plans. The panic pulled up to my side with nowhere left for me to hide. But unseen fingers held the wire when my own mind was catching fire. It seals the miracle we miss, the cold and waking morning kiss, the lungs that pull the crisp air in. Where total darkness should have been, he built a fortress in the fray and kept the undertow at bay. So keep the crowns and grand parades, the flashy gold that quickly fades. I hold a staggering defense, a silent holy providence to open up my eyes today is pushing every ghost away. The pulse is still.